Okay, so I was doing exercise. I was just in my own head, and I decided that I was going to play the keyboard, which, if you can hear, actually, let me turn up the volume just a bit. Probably more than a bit, in all honesty. Um, Only because um, we've got uh, we've got some things. Okay, all right, that should be better. Okay, so so yeah, I was just in my own head. I was in my own head, and it's never good. It's never good. So I decided that I'm just gonna record myself and then talk out loud, even though this is no substitute for therapy. It's not substitute for therapy, but it's better than doing nothing. So I figured, why not just play these keys a little bit. And yeah, so that's what I'm doing. What chord was I playing? Oh yeah. So some things that I wanted to talk about were, I mean, basically, look, I don't really have anything crazy going on in my life. I'm just an ordinary guy. Just an ordinary guy trying to play the piano. And my dogs are about to go crazy. Well, they're not my dogs, but the dogs are about to go crazy. My tia's dogs. And yeah, music theory. So, just a fair warning, I do have a tendency to think tangentially. So my brain will just like I'll just be in the flow of conversation and just not have any idea what I'm talking about. And then I'm also experimenting with these keys, so I'm listening and developing my ears. This is all just practice, honestly. But it's good. I mean, listen, I'm a delivery driver, so it's not like I'm playing at the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion. Ooh, I knew that was wrong. I'm sorry. I'm just like listening to it, and I'm just like hearing the chord. Like, this is a nice chord. Transition to this chord, but they're different keys. So, and then when I go here, I have to go. So there's like a subtle difference. But it's all music theory, so it's like who cares as long as it sounds like who cares? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's theory and we have like fundamentals and shit. You have like the chromatic scales and chords, but it's I don't know, man. It's ultimately like you learn it, I guess, but is it really that important? I don't know. Maybe it is just so you can start to like train and develop an ear, I guess. But after a certain point, it's just like why does that work? I don't know. I don't know. It's all just music, so it's all just noise. Anyways, I'm a delivery driver, and I know it's nothing to feel bad about, especially because I'm like working towards being independent as a man. But yesterday was a real bummer because like I was literally like just in my car, and I had to get up and walk around because I just wasn't getting any orders. Like I had scheduled myself for a time slot, and then for like 5 hours I just only got one order. So that means for 5 hours I was just idling, which is kind of symbolic of my life. I like that progression. And something about that progression I like. See, now that sounds different, right? But then there's a little dissonance there. So ultimately, that's music, right? There's consonance and then there's dissonance. There's stuff that sounds harmonious together, and then there's stuff that there's a note there that makes it dissonant. So yeah, music is an art, I guess, but it's also kind of like a game. I feel like all of life is a game. Ultimately, all of life is a game. Like, why does that note sound so sour, you know? Like, sounds so sharp. Right? Now that's how we feel. It's a little flat. I don't know, man. Sharp and flat is not like is not the best way to describe these. Like sharp and flat is ingrained in music fundamentals and music theory, but it's only like if you think about it, notes can't be sharp or flat because sharp or flat are fundamentally like what's it called they're like physics. It's like terms of physics. Like an object can be flat or an object can be sharp, but wavelengths can't be flat or sharp because they're just wavelengths. So to call like a note sharp or flat, you have to think about it. You have to think twice. You have to think about like, well, why is it called sharp or flat? Oh, it's called sharp or flat because if you're playing music and you're playing within a key, quote unquote, then you're like, then you kind of set a tone, you kind of set a vibe, you set like a feeling, a mood. And so when you play a key which is a wavelength that's not in that groove, in that mood, then it could only be either sharp or flat, which is the sound, right? Which is like there, we're in a groove, right? It doesn't have to be this groove. It could be a different groove, right? Let me just switch it up, right? So let me see. There it is. Wait a minute. See? So I played them twice there, and so those notes felt either sharp or flat, considered, but I don't know, to me, technically it's a flat, right? Because the notes are G, B, D, F sharp. So if I went down one, then it's a flat, right? But it wouldn't be a flat if you're like playing in this key, right? So oh, I went too hard. Dropped the camera. I totally forgot what I was gonna say. Anyways, it's just nice to get out of my own head. I get in my own head a lot, so to be able to get out of my head and just talk and play keys and I'm no stranger to making these videos. I've made more than one, and it's not like I'm providing quote unquote content. I'm just kind of using these videos as a way to be self-sufficient in a way. Like I'm documenting myself in a way. So I consider it to be like a video journal, which is like just documenting kind of where I'm at digitally in terms of my headspace. Because man, I used to like I have more videos of like when I was in a different time in my life. Mm. So it's just good to like vocalize and talk and get, like I said, out of my own head, which is pretty easy to do when I'm recording myself, you know. So usually when I'm recording myself, I'm kind of like talking about what I'm feeling, And now, so I'm not really talking about what I'm feeling here. Yeah, I'm just talking. So yeah, I mean, like I'm actively kind of trying to avoid talking about my feelings. Man, playing the piano is definitely hard. It is definitely a skill. It is a required and acquired. So I mean, what else can I say? I mean, honestly, like I'm avoiding talking about certain things that are going on in my life. Not because I'm like ashamed of them, and they're actually some pretty cool things, but I guess it's also like I don't want to talk about them. I just kind of want to talk. Like I don't want to talk about my feelings, but I also don't want to not talk because then I'm just gonna be in my own head. So like I want to get out of my own head. I need to get out of my own head, and this is how I'm doing it right now. When it comes to music theory, I love music. One, two, I love getting out of key. Not in when I say getting out of key, I don't mean like purposely singing flat or sharp just to be out of key. I mean, in music fundamentals and theory, you have a key, and a key like a like a key signature. If you're reading music, it's basically like it's in music theory. Someone who studied music theory can see a key signature and know that in that piece of music, in that work, you're going to have certain notes that play. So in a C major, right? C major, I can if you told me we're in the key of C, right? Then I'm gonna be like, okay, I know exactly what notes are in the key of C, right? It's basically all the white keys. And then any sharps or flats or accidentals, which is basically any accidentals that are marked on the music sheet, I know will only be like those are marked because they're out of key. And I think one of the reasons why that became necessary in music is because it gets kind of boring to just play the same keys over and over. Like there's only 8, at least in like the Western side of music. There's only 8. And then they're all just variations on that. And don't get me wrong, there are people who can like they can jump around the entire 62 keys, and that's amazing. That's great. Other people, when they're in a mood, they like to set it by jumping around a bit. So maybe I don't want to play G standard. Maybe I want you know, But then, so that's a key, right? That's I think that's G sharp, right? Or no, 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 no. If the G is sharp, then we're playing in. I think it's an F. F. I'll be honest, I haven't studied my music in a while. I think it's F major. So no, 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 no. It's actually not G. It's a F sharp. Jesus Christ. So it is in the key of G. G major has an F sharp. So that's what it is. So, anyways, there's just like different ways to notate different types of music because sometimes people like to jump off of their appropriate keys and they like to get a little funky with it, or however you want to call it, funky, a little bit crazy, a little bit whatever. Ah, because there's sometimes that you just want to do it, you know, like technically I'm playing all the keys in the right key, but I don't know, like sometimes the keys just sound different and I want to go, see. Mm. Mm. And ultimately it's just whatever, man. Like there are no rules to this life, and so you get to live it however you want. And if you want to get a little funky with it, and then ultimately also too, it's like the more you do something, the more you're gonna develop your sense of skill for it. And so once you've developed yourself fully, then you can, I don't know, even you don't even have to develop yourself fully to like start bringing yourself to people because honestly, like skill is skill is only something that we've termed to like to like to make communication easier. But in terms of like like in terms of like actually like the I skill is an idea basically. And so like most things that in our reality, we've only defined the idea, um, but in terms of like what it actually is and what it actually means, it's only it can only be felt by the individual, and that individual can only feel it when it's time, and through kind of like trial by fire. Like the individual has to put themselves out there in situations where they can grow and test themselves as long as everything's okay. That's why love is such a big factor. Love is necessary because without love, then I don't know, man. It's just so much harder to. I don't even know what I'm trying to say, honestly. Like I don't know. Love. I don't know. Love is important, but it's not like love is the end all be all in terms of like because they say love helps a person grow, So, I think the reason why love helps a person grow is because love provides nourishment um, to someone. It's sort of like I use the word nourishment, and nourishment is, it evokes thoughts of like sustenance, right? Like we eat for nourishment. We need nutrients to continue functioning, or to for our bodies to continue functioning. Nutrients also help our bodies recover and push ourselves even more. So it's kind of interesting that I chose the word nutrient, or it like a that I chose to associate love with like a nutrient sort of thing. If someone has been deprived of that nutrient, um, that's not to say they can't be skilled or they can't continue to grow. It's just that they grow into something else. They have to. There's no other choice. And with piano, ultimately, what are we doing? We're just using our fingers to strike. We're using our fingers to touch buttons. It's just buttons, honestly. And then these buttons do different things. So, anyways, it's 6 o'clock. I have work to do. Hopefully, I get more than one order. I'm going to be working in Westwood this time with my car that doesn't have a lot of personality. It's not very expensive to look at. It's kind of just a blah car, but don't judge a car by its cover. So that bad boy has gotten me through work, and it's going to continue to get me through work. So this was me playing music. I dropped my phone. Luckily, everything's okay. And that's it.